Thanks a lot. Okay, so I will share my screen. So I guess you can see the screen and here see the full slide. So this I will maybe move it elsewhere. So is it okay? Can you see the nice the nice landscape and planet made by our dedicated communication team? So I will start with basically presenting you the agenda of this workshop. So we will make a tour de table, introduction of the partner, because again, I have sent many invitations, but I don't know maybe most of you, I guess, from your representative of all those projects. I will have some maybe a suggestion for you. If you could in the Zoom application to basically make sure you can rename yourself, making your name and your affiliation. This will be later on easiest for us to know who is talking from which project. Basically easy to point out as well who were there for each project. If we need to reconvene with some of you or maybe some project that were not here. So could you do so, please? So this after this tour de table, we will have an introduction of the EuroGEOSec project by my colleague Nicolas Fichot, and I will take over regarding the presentation of how this EuroGEO project link with the Geo Knowledge Hub and how basically it is paved the way for the EuroGEO activity, which again your project may be interested in contributing to. Then we will talk about the initial mapping that has led for you to be selected as a potential project to be part of this Geo Knowledge Hub exercise. We have done an initial mapping, and this will be presented by me as well with the support of Erwin from the European Commission, with which we have basically set up this initial list. I will show you the potential integration way that we have designed for basically the result of each of your projects to be integrated in the Geo Knowledge Hub. Then the core of the presentation will be done by the Geo Knowledge Hub team, Paolo De Salvo, Felipe, Carlos, and Callum Cass, Yesim Canova. They will explain the Geo Knowledge Hub, an example regarding hands-ons into the Knowledge Hub itself, the tool itself, and Callum Cass will illustrate the best practice to prepare a Geo Knowledge Hub package. Later on, I will take the floor again with my colleague Orestid, that I thank as well from the EFL project, and we will provide you with two different examples, concrete examples of how already past EC funded project has contributed to the Geo Knowledge Hub with different type of flavor, from the E-Shape, which is mostly automated, versus the EFL, who has done the thing more in a classical way. And then we will end up with the potential milestone of this action, some, let's say, possible action plan we have drawn. And again, we will be, of course, open then for, we hope, a quite large technical and strategical discussion with you all regarding the way you feel and you could be basically engaged in this activity of bringing your result and your outcome into the Geo Knowledge Hub. I see that there are people in the room which are waiting. So as these are only people, does Thierry or Nicolas, can you make sure to admit them?
Yes, done.
Okay, I see some of pop up in the, okay. So the tour de table, the round table. So here again, I don't have the full list as I am in a presenter mode. So maybe what I would suggest, and in order to make sure we stick in the time of, we have 10 minutes to do this roundtable, it is important to basically present each other's. But in order not to drill into too many, let's say, detailed presentation, I would like for each of you to introduce your first name, your affiliation, and basically what is your role in your respective project, and maybe what is the role related to the Geo Knowledge Hub. So I will maybe start with the EuroGEOSec team, and then we will move to the project as the Geo Knowledge Hub will be, and will have time to present themselves during the session that they are going to present. So maybe Nicolas, are you with us?
Hello everyone, I'm Nicolas Fichot, I'm with Mine Paris, and I'm supporting the EuroGEO Secretariat.
Very good. Maybe Thierry, I don't see the list, so then I have to maybe...
so I'm Thierry Ranchin, I'm also in Mine Paris, and Armin, and my role is the scientific coordinator of the EuroGEO-Sec project. And
okay.
Lionel?
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, if you pass the list, very good. Thank you, Thierry. I'm Lionel Ménard. I'm as well part of the project management team supporting the EuroGEO-Sec project. And for this, I will be your contact point regarding the Geo Knowledge Hub activity.
Okay. Do you want me to follow the...
Yeah, because I'm full screen.
Marie-Françoise?
Yeah, so I'm Marie-Françoise Voidreau. I'm involved in EuroGEOSec as responsible for a task related to infrastructures. And of course, the Geo Knowledge Hub is an infrastructure, but also all the data and information that can be shared into it.
Felipe?
Now, Felipe will basically be part of the Geo Knowledge Hub team with Paola and Kalamkaz. They will introduce themselves during their presentation.
I didn't remember the name of the person with the numbers, 175710. Maybe you can unmute, open your video.
So maybe you can.
Okay. Alessia?
Hello, Alexia Tsouni from National Observatory of Athens in the EuroGEOSec project, coordination support of the EuroGEO governance bodies and structures. Thank you.
Aspasia?
Hello, everyone. I'm Aspasia from National Observatory of Athens, representing the communication team of the EuroGEOSec.
Okay.
Thank you.
Daniel? Daniel Lowe?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Daniel Lowe. I'm with Marine Instruments in Spain, part of the System Tech project. And my role in the project has been as helping the coordinator and also working in different work packages within the project.
Thank you. Mikko?
Hello, my name is Mikko Strandov from the Finnish Meteorological Institute. In Arctic Passion, I lead the work package 6, which is international cooperation and clustering, and the Geo and EuroGEO activities are under this work package, and I'm mostly responsible for them.
Thank you. Aris?
Hello, I'm Haris Kondoes. I'm with the National Observatory of Athens. I also belong to the EuroGEOSec project. I'm for the coordination of the action groups of the EuroGEO Initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivan?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Ivan. I work at ASTI and I'm involved in the Sustuntech project as Daniel. And I'm involved in the work package 4, which aims to exploit metocean data collected by fishing vessels.
Thank you. Julia?
Giulia Giorgi. I'm the coordinator of Armonia project from Politecnico di Milano. And I'm here with my colleagues, Cristina Musacchio and Maria Stella Lux. Cristina is a project manager of Armonia, and Maria Stella Lux in the coordination group, and they can introduce themselves.
Okay, thank you. Laura?
Good afternoon. Laura Varisco. I represent the Protect project and I'm with GAC Group, and we were coordinator of the Protect project. Protect was a coordination and support action funded by Horizon Europe The project lasted 2 years. It actually ended in July, and it was a preparatory action for a PCP that will be launched at the beginning of 2025. And we built a community of buyers and also an e-catalog of EO providers. So for sure, we are interested in being involved in a EuroGEO initiative.
Thank you. Malik?
Hi, Malik Norman from Pangea Data Publisher at AVI in Bremerhaven. I've been involved as the responsible work package lead in the Horizon 2020 project iAtlantic, and that's the first hat I have on here today because I'm also involved with the Arctic Passion project, recently actually. Thanks.
Thank you. Maria Stella?
Hello. Sorry, we are in the same.
No, you're muted now. Your mic is muted.
Okay. Sorry, because I'm in the same room with Julia, so we have a bit of problems with the microphone. I'm working in a Harmonia project. So the project coordinator is also here, it's Julia Giorgi. And I'm dealing especially with the project management in this project, but I also deal with in situ data acquisition, and we also have a huge part of Earth observation data. So we are definitely happy to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Marisa?
Hi, I'm Marisa Cascara. I'm working in the National Observatory of Athens as a project manager. We're part of the EuroGEO Secretariat team, having the role of the communication as well as the coordination of the action groups. And from this list also, we were part actually of the Eiffel project, and we were working very closely with SAFERS project through FireLog, a CSA action that we run at the moment in the fire domain. Thank you.
Thank you. Murray?
Hello everybody, my name is Murray Roberts. I'm a professor at the University of Edinburgh in Applied Marine Biology and Ecology, and I coordinated the iAtlantic project, which is an integrated assessment of Atlantic marine ecosystems in space and time. We spanned the entire Atlantic, north, south, east and west, and built a GEOS community portal actually, which is why one of the reasons Malik Nauman is on the call with me. So really interested to learn more about GEOS and GEO moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Christina, I see that you were able to change your name.
Yes, yes, finally I got it. This is Cristina Musacchio. I am the project manager of Harmonia. I am dealing mostly with management, but as Maria Stella and Julia said, we are really involved in any kind of data acquisition, and we are really pleased to join your workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. Constantina, are you there?
Yes, sorry. Hi, good afternoon. Yes, I am in the coordinating team of ILET project from lead company Microsoft, and I just joined. Sorry for joining late. I'm just interested in the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Orestes?
Hi everyone, my name is Orestes Payer. I work at the National Observatory of Athens, which also hosts the Greek GEO office. This is important for my presentation. I was involved in the Eiffel project regarding all GEO liaison, including putting stuff in the GEO Knowledge Hub, as well as a pilot on urban mitigation. Thanks.
Thank you. Pauline?
Me? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Pauline Simpson. I am part of the IEEE team working with Iliad, which is the Digital Twins of the Ocean EC project, and our focus is on best practices and standards.
Thank you very much. Sarantis?
Hello, I'm Sandis Paskalis. I'm with the National and Kapodistrian University of Athens. I'm in the coordinating team of the EO4EU project, a project that aims to make EO data available for more users and more easy processing. Thank you.
Thank you. Sergio.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sergio Cinirella from the National Research Council of Italy. I'm part of EuroGEOSec working on mapping initiative projects related to the scientific part. I'm also being involved in the Goods Foreign flagship and part of the management team of GEO. Thank you.
Thank you. Sofia.
Hi, I'm Sofia Economou. I'm from the National Observatory of Athens in the communication team for EuroGEOSec project.
Thank you. And so, Lionel, we have still Erwin, if you wish to present. I think you are well known.
Yeah, I'm one of the project advisors of the Research Executive Agency. So together with Lara, Antonio, Gael, Gonzalo, I think I have them all, Angela, that are the POs. So of course we support this action. I'm happy to introduce it further during the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. And finally, we have the team from the GEOSec with Felipe. You're muted, Lionel.
Yeah. Felipe, Kalamkas, and Paola will introduce themselves when they will have the floor for the Geo Knowledge section.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Okay, so thanks a lot, and thanks again for being so numerous to this session. Very good. Okay, so I will leave the floor to Nicolas, who will do the introduction of the EuroGEOSec project. Nicolas, you jump in.
Hello. Yes, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Very good. Good afternoon, everyone, again. So I'm going to describe our project EuroGEOSec that is supporting EuroGEO. First, a word on EuroGEO. EuroGEO is a regional initiative under GEO, the Group on Earth Observation, and it is gathering the European members, the European caucus to GEO, and coordinating these members and the contribution of these members to GEO. I'm going to the next slide. For the EuroGEO initiative, so the initiative that is led by European caucus member and coordinated by the European Commission, it was set up originally to coordinate the European contribution to GEO and to the GEO work program and implementation plan. In addition to that, it is also making the link with European policies and European engagement priorities, and it is trying to both coordinate the contribution within GEO at the European level, but also making the link with the priorities of Europe so that there would be benefits on both sides. For the last period, for the last 4 years in particular, the initiative has been very active into developing the notion of creating value from Earth observation data and services, what is called in GEO now Earth intelligence. And in particular, there was a massive contribution from the European Commission under the form of the E-Shape project that has incubated and has demonstrated the value of incubating services and promoting those services in the framework of EuroGEO and in the framework of GEO. If I go to the next slide. So the EuroGEOSec project is a project for 2 years. It is an effort to support the EuroGEO initiative and to put also the initiative on the path of sustainability with potentially the establishment of EuroGEO Secretariat. So in this transition period, what the project has to do is that it has to act as a mock-up of a potential secretariat and demonstrate the value of having such support over the long term. To do that, it is doing several things. It is organizing the activities of EuroGEO and EuroGEO Action Group. It is organizing the EuroGEO workshop, that is an annual workshop that is traditionally organized by the Commission and now handed over to this project. And also it is trying to demonstrate the value for the Secretariat to host services for the action group and the participants to the EuroGEO community. So it's a mock-up of these services. If we go to the next slide, what we see are the outcomes, potential outcomes of EuroGEOSec project. So as I said, it's a way to transition to a potential secretariat, to demonstrate the value of having such a secretariat, and to make proposals of what the EuroGEO initiative could be delivering in the future by demonstrating potential services. There is a particular effort that is made in this project to open the initiative and to engage more profiles that we don't see much in the initiative for the moment. For example, there is an opening to a European funded project that was done, and the fact that you are here present is also part of this general effort to engage more with activities financed by the European Commission and also member states, but also engaging more the industry, engaging more the infrastructure, data infrastructure and platforms as well, and the interested entities and EU bodies that were aware so far of the EuroGEO initiative, but not directly engaged. So there is a massive effort that is done, and this will be reflected into the EuroGEO workshop that will take place in October. This new type of engagement with all these partners will be reflected there. I was mentioning that the project also has to demonstrate potential value-added services of a future secretariat. And here we are talking about creating operational pipelines of activities where we would like to carry support measures to incubate future services. Also, there is the mission to create an observatory of the European contribution to GEO, and this is under building. At the end of the project, we should come up with a proposal to the European Commission on potential sustainability pathway for the initiative, such as a strategy and action plan through the EuroGEO implementation plan. This is a document that we need to revive, to circulate and to complement and to hand over to the Commission for consideration, and also potential sustainability pathway for this future EuroGEO Secretariat. What you have seen probably over social media is a big effort of communication around the initiative. And also, these days, we are very active on organizing the EuroGEO workshop for 2024 that will take place in Krakow, in Poland, and probably you are aware already of that. This is reflecting, actually the workshop is reflecting the efforts we are trying to make in reshaping this EuroGEO initiative. If I go to the next slide. Yes, so this is an announcement of the EuroGEO workshop that you might be aware of. Also, this EuroGEO workshop is in line with the development of the EuroGEO implementation plan. So you could see the workshop has 3 days of discussion of the future shape of the EuroGEO initiative, taking into account the fact that the European landscape has changed a lot since the start of EuroGEO, and also GEO itself has changed and has changed its focus and activity and structure over the years. So we want to have a EuroGEO initiative in the future that would be aligned on both sides. This is why this conversation for 3 days is very important, and that's why we are making noise and sending invitation and trying to have panelists that are very representative of the community. And the outcome of the workshop would be reflected into this implementation plan that is a proposal for the way forward for EuroGEO. As a final word, what I could say on this discussion that we are having today is that it's very relevant to EuroGEO because it touches upon the monitoring of the European contribution to GEO somehow. So far, we were able to track more than 1 billion euros of projects that were funded by the European Commission and committed to GEO and GEOS through the various framework programs. So since the beginning of the engagement of the European Commission in this process. And when we speak about 1 billion euro of project, it's only the Commission contribution. It is not accounting from the activities of Copernicus and trusted entities, European member states or even other European players. And as EuroGEO, we would like to develop the concept of one EuroGEO, which means trying to cluster and monitor the entire European contribution to GEO in order to promote and value the knowledge that is generated for these different activities. And the question that we would be asking is, how can we make sure that the knowledge that is generated by this massive contribution can be made available to the GEO community in a way that it contributes to the goal of intelligence for all, so that both EuroGEO and GEO can increase their impact and improve the benefits to the global community. So really the conversation we are having today, in my view, is valuable for that purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicolas. Thank you very much for the very nice introduction of the project and the link to knowledge. And basically, this link to knowledge allow me to basically jump in the current goal or the goal of this session and this workshop is basically how does the project EuroGEOSec link with some of the component, but here mostly focusing on the Geo Knowledge Hub, and how basically it is coming from. So when we have had the kickoff in last December of the EuroGEOSec project, we have been discussing with the European Commission how basically to be interested and to create an official EuroGEO community section in the Geo Knowledge Hub. So this is currently what you see on the Geo Knowledge Hub itself. You have the link and you will see and you will discover that there is a dedicated community section that basically hosts several knowledge packages that basically are under the umbrella of EuroGEO. So for this action, we have been entrusted by the EC basically to currently operate and moderate the EuroGEO community section in the Geo Knowledge Hub. Basically, this is a role that is only moderating some of the input that may came from, let's say, potential people who want to commit some resource in the Geo Knowledge Hub and who want to be identified as part of the EuroGEO community. So myself and Felipe Carlos from the Geo Knowledge Hub team as this basically so-called moderation role for the 2 years to come. And such role will be potentially transferred to the future EuroGEO Secretariat at the end of the EuroGEOSec project. It is not something which is basically permanent. So in order to make sure that we have the idea of creating this EuroGEO community section, and we have had, as mentioned by Thierry and as well Nicolas, we have operated a project called eShape between 2019 and 2033 that has committed a lot of resource, as eShape was basically a precursor of EuroGEOSec spirit in the idea of providing and making sure we can promote the outcome of this big project with 37 pilots, 67 partners into the Geo Knowledge Hub. So we have kickstart, and by moving the content of the former eShape contribution, 39 knowledge package into the new EuroGEOS community. So it was basically the so-called validation. Yes, we can do so into this new created EuroGEO community. So the idea there, and as a general goal of this workshop and the activity we are going to conduct all together, we want and we expect to increase the referencing and the visibility of past, current, and future European contribution through the Geo Knowledge Hub. So we very do believe and are very confident about the capacity of the Geo Knowledge Hub spirit and concept, and you will see this in the coming presentation from the Geo Knowledge Hub team, that it is a very well-suited tool to basically promote outcome result into a nicely concept of package. It will be explained later. So we want to demonstrate this feasibility and as well make sure we assess the added value to register European contributions through this Geo Knowledge Hub. Potentially the idea is to, at the end, Geo Knowledge Hub could be a kind of one-stop shop, or basically the point where people who are looking for EC-funded Geo contribution for the EuroGEO activity could be thinking directly to go there and to find easy the outcome of those, again, past, current, and future contribution. We will try to initiate and make sure to have best practice regarding how to potentially referring packaged into the Geo Knowledge Hub, and make sure to do this and to have this monitor as a European contribution to Geo. So the idea is that based on the potentially panel that we have here, we're gonna learn a lot into this activity of referencing, releasing, creating, managing, monitoring Geo Knowledge Hub package for the good of the Geo community. So what we've done is that in order to do so, we start with an additional review of EC contribution from various, let's say, sources. So we have read and, let's say, assessed the current EuroGEO implementation, not the one that we are going to create during the EuroGEOSec project, but the one which is currently existing. We have listed EuroGEOSec project portfolio, mostly bring by Erwin, the Geo Working Group, flagship, initiative, pilot, and we end up with a final list of 14 projects. So you present in this workshop, in close consultation with the European Commission, and maybe I will leave the floor to Erwin to basically provide us some insight about this selection process and basically what is important for the EC regarding this current exercise.
Yes, with all pleasure, Lionel. So maybe just maybe to link your projects to EuroGEO and Geo in general. All the projects that are around the table here, they have been selected from call topics in Horizon Europe or Horizon 2020 still. But for Horizon, it's cluster 6. And there is an intervention area on environmental observations where we have all the projects that are linked to EuroGEO. Now, why do we do that? So you know that European Commission is, of course, member and even co-chair of GEO, and we are, as Commission, really committed to contribute to the GEO objectives. As also said by Nicola before, we really want to contribute to the GEO engagement priorities. And you have seen that when you submit a proposal for our call topics, there is, as expected, impact always aligned that you should contribute to the strengthening of GEOs. And therefore, many of our projects have been asked in the past to register their outcomes, their data sets, often their services also in GEOs. But we have seen that, so the system of GEO, but we have seen that this is not for all projects the most impactful way, let's say, to ensure a wider uptake of these data, to say it in that way. And we have also seen, as Lionel said, eShape has made an in-depth test of the capabilities of the Geo Knowledge Hub, and we have seen that indeed this offers much more possibilities, and is also for projects that, for example, do not have data sets as results, but maybe like, for example, Protect, they have more a set of information that is very relevant, but is not really fitted to be, let's say, registered within GEOs. So we think that for all the projects that we have, the Geo Knowledge Hub could be a very interesting tool to support further the dissemination exploitation of the results. And this is, as you know, key. I don't know how my colleagues, so my colleague POs behave, but I'm quite sure that certainly in the last review meeting, they will focus a lot on ensuring that you did everything you could to maximize the dissemination exploitation of your project. It's all about our EU funding being reused and also that people can easily take it up, let's say, and I think the Geo Knowledge Hub is ideally suited for that. So that's why we strongly support this exercise. There is also a next slide, Lionel, I don't know whether you can move to that, where you see indeed the list of our, that one, the list of the projects, and you see that, for example, in the last column, we have also the Horizon Results Platform. So also this is a tool that we start using now more and more to being introduced to our projects for you to also link your results into there, because this is also a mean for us to disseminate further the results of our project, but the Geo Knowledge Hub is also seen as one important component with others, for example, like, of course, there's another community for more the research-oriented projects there. So just to say that we really support that we do this exercise to learn from you as well how you conceive this in terms of effort and in terms of result. For us also to see how this will help us as Commission to have a better overview about all the results that are linked to the geo engagement priorities, because often we need to link projects with specific stakeholders in geo, and then we need this kind of data, of course. But I think, of course, the primary goal should be that it helps you as well to structure your results, your outcomes, in a way that you can do your dissemination exploitation more efficiently. Now we have, by selecting the projects, we have, of course, selected projects that were recently closed or that have already mature results. Otherwise, it makes, of course, no sense yet to do it. And we have on purpose selected projects from different natures. Like I said already before, Protect has not really data sets, geo data sets as output, but community portal with a lot of interesting mappings and documents on climate services and the EU community. Then we have projects that are delivering tools that can be deployed on European or national platforms. We have also projects that have that focus really on open source, but also as well that are really committed to make a commercial service and innovation actions like savings and system tech and so on. We have big projects, we have smaller projects, we have those focusing on in situ data, and also we have a rich variety of already mature projects that we ask you now to do this exercise. And we are really keen on discussing further with you and with Lionel and the colleagues from the EuroGEOSec about the effectiveness of being involved in Geo Knowledge Hub. So that would, I think, summarize our expectations, Lionel. If I need to clarify more, let me know.
Very good, Erwin. Thank you for this very clear and let's say strong statement and engagement of supporting this activity. So indeed, this matrix, I did it and I check basically each of the project, and based on the 3 selected platform, look where you were potentially already conducting activity. So if I've made mistake, I apologize. I've done as well the same thing that Erwin mentioned. So I basically go on each the website and look at the type of project and what could be already in based on my experience in eShape, what could be a candidate knowledge package. So I've already do this initial mapping, but we will basically go into this maybe later on as we have some example, and you will be as well be more informed about this by the Geo Knowledge team presentation. So before leaving the floor to the Geo Knowledge Hub team, so the integration strategy for the selected project is that we are going to, with the Geo Knowledge team and the EuroGEOSec, support you in order potentially to define and fine-tune what is your needs and what is your support in the creation of the knowledge package. So knowledge package will be explained. So we will potentially work with you. So maybe it will be obvious, maybe it will be a bit, let's say, tricky than expected, and Orestes has a very nice example on this. So we will try to develop what I call a flexible, scalable, and smart integration strategy. You will see as well that the Knowledge Hub can accommodate several ways of basically bringing information in its own system. So whether you edit manually or basically what I've done in eShape, you will see later that we have created some automatic harvesting of the content of a catalog that basically is splitted in a very nice and well packaged and well presented GeoKnowledge package. So this is something we will investigate, and especially with the one who have already disseminated some, let's say, outcome and result in Zenodo, which I think will be a very nice use case. Of course, we will try with you alongside the process to collect feedback and to make sure to improve this integration procedure, what has been mentioned by Erwin. We will potentially as well evaluate with you and the Geo Knowledge Hub team if there is some new development of feature. Maybe we can encounter some basically dead end in order to accommodate the way you want to disseminate your result, and this could be done. I know that the Geo Knowledge Hubs have already a very, let's say, charged plan, but I think it is good to know that the Geo Knowledge Hub is an open system, an open platform that may accommodate some further feature that we may be willing to have. We will, of course, when we've done this, we need not to forget basically how to ingest the benefit, the pros and cons of this in the implementation plan, and potentially pave the future for EuroGEO mandate let's say that maybe at the end, EuroGEO as a secretariat may encourage, give some best practice or some advice for new funded project on the by the European Commission to make sure they accommodate, if it is not already strongly mentioned, into the Geo Knowledge Hub, the outcome of their results. And basically, again, we globally offer a dedicated support for all of you based on this joint team of EuroGEOSec, mostly myself and the Geo Knowledge Hub team. So we will skip now the screen to the Geo Knowledge Hub team. So before I do this, do you have any question on this section about the setting the scene before deep dive into the Geo Knowledge Hub presentation? You keep your question for the last Q&A section for sure. Okay, so thank you. I guess this is Paola or Felipe who will share your screen. I guess you can do so. I've stopped sharing mine. Paola, you're muted, just in case you want to.
Felipe, do you want to share your screen, please? I cannot see. In the meantime,
no,
not yet. In the meantime,
yes.
Okay, yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Fantastic. So in the meantime, I really would like to thank Lionel for having involved us into this discussion together with you all, and as well the trust to the European Commission for having the Geo Knowledge Hub being one of the tools to preserve and disseminate the knowledge produced within the EuroGEO. We are really happy and excited to be able to start this path with EuroGEO. It is the first regional geo that is approaching the Geo Knowledge Hub. And we are extremely happy because we see tremendous advantage on using this tool. So next slide, please. The agenda that we will cover after the introduction Lionel and you all made is really an introduction to the Geo Knowledge Hub, where we come from, and the vision. We will have followed a hands-on presentation to the Geo Knowledge Hub done by Felipe Carlos. And then finally, before we go into the discussion, we'll have best practices for creating knowledge packages done by Kalamkas Yesimkanova. Next slide. So here is the Geo Knowledge Hub team. I'll introduce myself. My name is Paola De Salvo. I work at the EuroGEO Secretariat as a Geo Infrastructure Coordinator. And since 4 years now, I've been leading the development and uptake of the Geo Knowledge Hub. And I have the pleasure, the biggest pleasure, to work with Felipe, Carlos, and Kalamkas, which I invite them to introduce themselves. Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kalamkas, and I am the content curator of the Geo Knowledge Hub. Thank you.
So, hi, everyone. I'm Felipe Carlos, and I work with Paola and Kalamkas in the EuroGEO Secretariat in the development of the Geo Knowledge Hub. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felipe and Kalamkas. And this is the core team behind the Geo Knowledge Hub, but in fact, we are not alone. We have had great people behind us with whom we have walked some of the path. And I like to mention especially Gilberto Camara, the previous Geo-Secretariat director, that was the initiator of the Geo Knowledge Hub within the Geo-Secretariat under his leadership. Doug Kripe, Gilberto Queiroz, Florian Franciscakis, and Enric Bayens. But for sure, also, we really want to thank and appraise the Invenio RDM community, which is the open source community led by CERN, that is driving the development of the solution, the open source solution behind the Geo Knowledge Hub, which is called Invenio RDM. And for some of you who were at the Open Data, Open Knowledge Workshop in 2023, you might have met Lars, who is also the father of Zenodo. So we really have the tremendous pleasure to work with very experienced people. And for sure, we are, thanks to the development skills of Felipe and our engagement with the community, adding functionalities to the Geo Knowledge Hub that do meet the requirements from the community, the needs from the community. So next slide, please. We like to say that everything from the Geo Knowledge Hub is available on the Geo Knowledge Hub GitHub repository. Everything is open. All the material used during the workshop and other workshops are all available in the GitHub for further exploration. Next slide. So I don't think I need to go in depth to what is GEO, but just to mention, GEO is a partnership of national governments, more than 110, and more than 150 participating organizations. It's a large community, and we all have, next slide, one goal. We have the goal that we believe that decisions and action for the benefit of humankind can be ameliorated, can be informed, can be driven, and can have impact thanks to the usage and leveraging of Earth observation data and knowledge. So, next slide. GEO has been leading since its existence the path over open data, advancing data sharing, and has, thanks to the work of the data working group, has been building documents, reference material on data sharing principles, data management principles. But in 2021, during the plenary that was virtual at that time, the plenary has adopted the open knowledge statement that has been the basis on which the Geo Knowledge Hub started, not only by having a statement, but really endorsing and implementing open knowledge. And we have had the luxury of seeing this tool, the Geo Knowledge Hub, growing thanks to the engagement with the community. Next slide. So GEO has a work program, has a number of flagship initiative, pilot initiative, different maturity level, different length of projects. And we believe, next slide, that this wealth of knowledge, applications that are developed in the GEO work program activities, but as well in the regional GEOs, should not be lost, should be preserved over time, and should be made available to all of those interested to enhance and accelerate the impact without reinventing the wheel. And so, again, extremely happy to be here together with you as a EuroGEO to serve you at the best. And I am very sure that EuroGEO will be exemplar to other regional GEOs who are starting to explore this type of solution. Next slide. So the open data is the basis, the credo on which we we found the group on Earth observation. And this is nourishing the GeoWorld program activities, the different activities in the regions, to build applications that are addressing the engagement priorities like the Sustainable Development Goals, the Sendai, the Paris Agreements, the a number of socio-environmental challenges by creating knowledge. Next slide. And we want that this existing knowledge that is created as a circular economy of the open knowledge goes back in a manner that nothing is lost. So what is the way to do this in the best of manner? Next slide. Yes, we hold these solutions, open applications built with open data, and we feel this responsibility and urgency to make those known and used. And therefore, next slide, we have the Geo Knowledge Hub that has been built since 2021 in an incremental manner over Invenio RDM, which is an open source solution, as I mentioned before, by adding functionalities that are specific for the Earth observation community. Next slide. In the Geo Knowledge Hub, we have three main goals: to open the existing knowledge, to make sure that nothing is remaining in someone's computer, in someone's server, to preserve it over time with the functionalities that you learn later on through Felipe's presentation, by assigning digital object identifier, by hosting data and services within the actual Geo Knowledge Hub, use and reuse. Because at the end, what we want is that users are aware of what is available without having to reinvent the wheel. Next slide. So we have this special concept of a knowledge package. What is a knowledge package? Knowledge package is basically an application, a knowledge element that has been, that stays between the application and the community. Next slide. In the knowledge package concept, we pre-curate, and you will learn it with the presentation from Kalamkas, all essential ingredients that the user needs to have in order to fully understand and reuse the application. It can be data. We have here just an example of in situ data, but can be reference to the space-based data, executable notebooks, tools, articles, publications, user stories, training material, available software, and so forth. Next slide. Everything is pre-packaged into what we call a knowledge package and handed over to the end user in such a way that he or she is able to find in the knowledge package the essential ingredients. Where we are now, we count 154 knowledge packages with 816 knowledge resources. I like to make a parenthesis here. Knowledge resource is basically one of the items that is in the knowledge package. So next slide. In the knowledge package, we also can find, as I mentioned, documents, codes, data, video, everything that is essential to best understand and reuse the knowledge shared. Next slide. So the Geo Knowledge Hub is accessible and operational from the gkhub.earthobservation.org. And basically, it has seen his light in July 2022. So in 2 years, we can really say we have done a tremendous amount of work by advancing development, by advancing content enrichment, engagement with the communities, as well user engagement. Next slide. So Our goal, we mentioned, is open the available knowledge, but also reaching out to the end users. This is one of the way I think data providers, knowledge providers become really excited, is when they meet their end users. So next slide, please, Felipe. We've been very active on that respect as well. We have, beside having engaged with the community to register content, to register available applications, we started to organize since October 2023 a number of webinars to showcase the available applications, the available knowledge shared within the Geo Knowledge Hub by domain. And so by domain, it means, for example, we have done a number of webinars for GeoGlam, for food security and agriculture. But these webinars are possible only when we have the highest involvement by the knowledge providers, because we are just a tool between you and the users, and between the centralized digital library, that is the Geo Knowledge Hub, and with the wish that as many as possible users will be able to discover the existing open knowledge. Next slide. So we have done, as I mentioned, a number of webinars with actually 4 webinars focusing over food security, and we had 240 attendees from 61 countries, from 150 organizations. We collected the survey. We collected data from a survey about the appreciation of this webinar, and no doubt there were absolutely, there was enthusiasm about knowing that there is a centralized digital library where you can go tap in and discover new available open knowledge. The users were coming mainly from Africa, as we were targeting a lot of member countries also in Africa, North America, Europe, Asia, and Oceania. So quite an interesting spread out of the attendees. Next slide. 100% wants to have more of these webinars, and they want to keep updated about these existing applications, because they want to reuse those applications. They want to leverage it. And for sure, you can imagine the happiness behind of the GeoGlam knowing and starting to know their users. Next slide. So I think I'll pause here. I believe Felipe arrived to my last slide, and pause for some minutes. Back to you, Lionel, for any existing question before we move forward. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Paola, for this extensive presentation of the Geo Knowledge Hub. So maybe, I guess, for the sake of time, we're gonna maybe jump to the presentation from Felipe as a follow-up to your introduction, just to basically deep dive into the tool itself. So and we will basically reconvene all together at the end of the presentation for some additional comment and questions. So Felipe, please, the floor is yours. Try to make sure to stick to the allocated time. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so thank you so much, Lionel. So as Paola mentioned at the beginning, now I'm going to do this hands-on presentation with you. So to share how users can explore knowledge available in the Geo Knowledge Hub, and also how knowledge providers can share knowledge using knowledge packages. So for this, I will be first accessing the main page of the Geo Knowledge Hub. So from this page, a user can basically explore all the content available in the Geo Knowledge Hub, and there is no requirement for logging or any kind of extra access. So the first thing we have is the possibility to use the search bar and, of course, type the subject we want, but we also have some extra filters here, so users can specify if they want knowledge packages, for example, or if they want other types of resources like datasets, services, and so on. Specify also if they want content from a specific GEO work program activity like EuroGEO, and also many other possibilities to filter the content, as well as this possibility to get content from specific regions. So if we are interested in get knowledge packages and resources for from a specific region, we can draw the region here and use these to get content to the our region of interest. Also, if we go down here, we have, for example, featured community. So basically new communities with new content are presented here. And one example is the Eiffel project. So they start publishing some content recently, so they are presented also here. Then here we have the possibility to get content related to some available topics like the geo engagement priorities, such as the New Urban Agenda, Sendai Framework, the SDG. So these are ways to explore content available in the Geo Knowledge Hub. Also, if we go down, we have here the list of latest packages published in the Geo Knowledge Hub by users. So this is a way to keep updated about what is being published here. And also we have a list of upcoming training and events. So all the webinars, all the events related to the Geo Knowledge Hub, we always put them here. So you can keep updated about what we are doing, activities, and so on. Then we can go up to start exploring a little bit the content available and see how a package looks like in practice. So let's say we want something related to mosquitoes. So we can just type there and click to search, and on this search result page, we have multiple results. So we have publications, web portals, and many other types of resources. And to filter this result, we can use this left side menu. So basically, to filter the content by resource types, for example, by the GEO work program activities, by the target audience of the application, and so on. So we have multiple ways to filter the content and get the results. And let's say we want to access the knowledge packages related to the subject we are looking for. So basically here, when we filter by knowledge package, we have this Arbocarto and also a knowledge package from eShape. So let's access this first one, this Arbocarto. So this is a package from the Space for Climate Observatory, which is a participating organization in GEO. So when we access this knowledge package, we basically have here the title, authors, a description about this package here. In the right side, we have the engagement priorities associated with this package, the geographical locations in where this package has data or something like that. We also have the target audiences for this package, the keywords, and of course the DOI signed for this specific package. If we go up, as Paula mentioned, in one package, we can centralize all the resources used to compose that application. So for this Arbocarto application, we have one dataset resource, 6 publications describing, for example, the methodology and other things related to this application. We also have software and also other resources. So if you want to explore, for example, this methodological guide available in this package, we can click here and basically we go to a page with the same structure as we have for the package, but this space is reserved for the resource itself. So we have a description and the files for that resource. And of course, each package and each resource can have their own digital object identifier. So for this user manual here, we also have a specific DOI. So we can go back and keep exploring the package. And of course, if we want, we can go and explore publications and so on. Another thing I would like to mention on this page is the possibility to interact with the community using the Geo Knowledge Hub. So here we have, for example, the feedback space. So if you want to evaluate the content available in the package, the organization, to support or to help the knowledge provider to improve the content available, you can use this feedback space and evaluate the package. But if you have some question, if you like to exchange some ideas, you can use this Ask the Provider feature. So you can you have this real-time chat where you can contact the provider and then you can discuss ideas, solutions, and so on. Also, if you need any kind of training around the package, we also have this option. So you can click here to request a training session, a webinar, for example, around this package. And when you do that, we from the GEO Knowledge Hub team work together with the knowledge provider to prepare some extra material, training sessions, and so on. So another aspect I would like to mention is this icon here. So basically this package is part of this Space for Climate Observatory community. And when we click here, we go to this community where we have all the resources available on it. So we follow the same idea. We have the possibility to filter by types and so on. And of course, we have other communities available. So when we click on that communities button, we have this possibility to get access to all communities available. And if we click on that see all communities, as you can see, and Lionel mentioned, we have the EuroGEO community. So we already have here 41 knowledge packages available with a lot of resources. So all these centralized in one single place. So this is the first part. This is one part of the GEO Knowledge Hub, but there is also another element I would like to mention, which is this possibility to knowledge providers create and share a knowledge package. So now I'm going to present how you can create the package and define the resources and include these resources inside the package, specifying metadata for the resources, DOI, and also the same metadata, DOIs, and files for the package itself. So for this, we can go to this. The first thing you need to have is a permission to create packages and resources. And to get this permission, you only need to have an account. And after create this account, you can request me and Paula, and we can grant you this permission to start creating content. So once you have this permission, you have this new plus button where you can go here and click create a new knowledge package. And what we have here is the possibility to define the package, specify uploading files, as I mentioned before, and also defining the metadata as well. So for example, here I will be uploading one file, for example. This is an example PDF. And then we can fill the metadata like the title, the publication dates, and of course the digital object identifier. So if you already have some DOI defined, you can paste it here. But if you don't have, you can ask the GEO Knowledge Hub to create a DOI for you and for your package. Then we have many other fields available, like the languages, descriptions, and so on. So all this stuff you can use to, for example, describe as much as possible your package and the context the package is in, and so on. Also, we can include here creators, for example, and let me just copy it here, and so on. Of course, we have fields to include subjects, your program activities, and so on. Also, one thing I would like to highlight here is the possibility to define the location, so users can find your application using that interactive map. And to define this location, you can use this interactive map, so you can draw here a polygon, for example, and say this application came from this region. But you also have the possibility to upload a GeoJSON, for example, with your location. So both things are possible. So as this example, so this is one possibility. So we can save. And the last thing I would like to highlight here is these licenses. So for each package and resources, you can specify licenses. And here we already have some geo recommendations for licenses. And this came from the Geodata license guidance. So here we have 3 licenses we recommended, so you can select and use them. Then as we have these files and also the metadata defined for the package, we can save and create a draft for the package. And when we do that, we have the package, and then we can go to start including resources inside this package. So we can use this option, go to resources. And when we do that, we have the possibility to include datasets, publication software, and also other kinds of resources inside the package. So let's say we want to create a dataset, so we can use this plus button and create a new resource, but in the Geo Knowledge Hub, there is also this possibility to use an existing resource already available in the Geo Knowledge Hub, for example. So if you are using a dataset available in the Geo Knowledge Hub, you can use this option. For this example, I'll be creating a new resource. So we can define the metadata, and here the metadata fields are the same as we have for the package. So we can specify the resource type, descriptions, digital object identifiers, and so on. One interesting thing about this page is the possibility to import metadata from the package. So let's say I want to import the languages from the package. So this is also possible. And this is good because many of the resources will use the same metadata as we have in the package. The same for the creators and so on. Also, we can upload files to each resource. So here I'm creating a data set, so I can go here and upload a zip file, for example, with my data. So this is one possibility. So I will add this resource inside the package. So now I have one package with one resource. So I can go back and preview this material. So when we do that, we have this page of the package in this preview mode with the resource we have included and also the file, the PDF file we have uploaded in the package itself. And when we access the dataset, we have here the zip file for the dataset. So this is the idea. Have all things centralized and described in their own space, but all of them together. And to finish this part of the presentation, I really would like to mention how you can submit your package, for example, to the EuroGEO community. So what you can do is, in the creation of your package, you can select the community here and say, I want to upload the content to EuroGEO community. And when you do that, as Lionel mentioned, your content will be in a review process, and basically myself and Lionel will support you in this process. So when you do that and accept these terms, we go to this page where we evaluate the package and we can exchange things here. For example, request updates to your package, more clear description, for example, and then after we accept the package, it will be available in the EuroGEO community. And to finish my presentation, I really would like to add that all the things I presented using the interface are also available in our REST API. So if you want to create automation scripts to publish packages, for example, in an automated way, multiple versions and so on, all of these are available in our REST API. And we already have created some tools, for example, the book package loader to upload many packages at the same time, and also a harvester tool, so we can get metadata from other platforms, for example, and include them as part of a knowledge package. So all this stuff are available. And one example, as Lionel mentioned, is the eShape case. So we imported many knowledge packages from order catalog into the Geo Knowledge Hub. And these tools are all open, so available also in our GitHub. And to finish this presentation, I like to mention that all the things I mentioned here are also documented. So if you want, you can use this link to access and learn more about the package structure, the lifecycle of a package, how to create a package, and so on. So that's what I have to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Felipe. And
thanks a lot, Felipe. Yeah, sorry, Calumcas. Thanks a lot for the very, let's say, deep dive into the Geo Knowledge Hub. I think things to be, let's say, digestible for maybe the newcomer, but I guess it was very interesting that you show in, let's say, in live this approach. So we have some question in the chat that I have tried to answer, at least for one of them. Maybe Miko, we will take this one for the discussion regarding the marketing aspect. It is very generic, but I guess it is something of interest to be talking about. And now let's leave the floor to Kalonkas, and basically she will explain basically which is the best practice to prepare potentially your result and your outcome into a geo knowledge package. So Kalonkas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lionel. Thank you, Felipe. And yeah, these best practices will help ensure that your application gets the visibility and accessibility. So first, starting with clear documentation. Next slide, please, Felipe. The clear documentation is essential. It is crucial to provide comprehensive documentation that explains what your application does and how to use it. So think of it as a user manual. Without clear instructions, users may struggle to understand and use your application effectively. It is also recommended to keep your documentation simple, so both technical and non-technical users can also understand your application and the data being used. In addition to the documentation, descriptive metadata and data accessibility are just as important. Next slide, please, Felipe. Metadata acts as a roadmap, and it guides user to the information they need. On the next slide, you can see that this is one of the scenarios with the information, metadata information, which I would say insufficient. But on the next slide, you can see metadata, which is rich metadata. So as you can see, the scenario with rich metadata provides much more value and makes easier for users to find, understand, and utilize the data effectively. We highly recommend to review geodata sharing and data management principles document, and we give here the link how to access it, and it will help you to manage and share data within the geo community. Next factor is visibility. It plays also a key role because sharing your publications, whether it's journal paper or conference proceedings, it increases its visibility and impact. It also helps users to understand scientific basis of your approach. In addition to this, it's also crucial to provide access to training materials. For example, you might share training videos on YouTube or algorithm or workshop materials you store on GitHub. So sharing training materials helps users to get started and level up their skills and knowledge. Next is equally important, of course, is ensuring effortless access to the full range of your products. So users should be able to access your application and its features without any barriers or complications. For instance, if it's a web platform that you develop, you might provide a URL address. Or if it's a tool that runs locally on your computer, providing a download file is also important. Therefore, prioritizing the accessibility for users, it's a very crucial step. Next, another key aspect is sharing user stories. Since user stories add personal touch to your application, and also sharing real-life examples of how your application has been used can inspire others. And also it's showcasing a practical application of your product. Next important aspect is licensing. It is so important to clearly define the terms under which your application can be used, also modified or shared, and it is crucial to protect your intellectual property rights. And also it all helps users to understand how they can interact with your work, with the output material. Moving on, the next slide, we can highlight that interacting with the community is an important factor. Engaging with users, gathering feedback, fostering collaboration, it will all create a vibrant ecosystem around your application. And the Geo Knowledge Hub, as already Felipe mentioned and showed, that we have functionalities like need training, ask provide, and user feedback. So we can facilitate this interaction. So you can give feedback to the user, or if training is requested, you can also interact with users. This is so important. Moving to the next, thinking long-term, it is vital for sustainability. And the Geo Knowledge Hub, assigning a DOI, digital object identifier, helps preserve your work over time. Another functionality of the Geo Knowledge Hub is hosting capability, and I would like to highlight it here because it is so important to preserve the valuable work that has been done. And these functionalities ensure durability of your content. Therefore, by using these features, you make sure that your content stays accessible and valuable for current audience and future audiences. And lastly, always staying up to date is important. So keeping your application current with the latest advancement and trends through regular updates will ensure that it remains relevant and valuable. In the Geo Knowledge Hub, we developed a link checker automated tool that will help you also with this task by monitoring broken links. This is one of the examples of how to stay up to date. And in conclusion, I would like to say that the Geo Knowledge Hub is a place to keep the knowledge centralized. And we believe that following these best practices, you can ensure that your application excel in the Geo Knowledge Hub. Thank you. And I'm handing over Felipe.
Yeah, thank you so much. So
thank you, Kanomkas.
Yeah, just to finish, very ending slide. So with all these features represented, the context and so on, what we are seeing in the Geo community is this paradigm shift from support not only open data, but of course the open knowledge. So empowering and democratizing the possibilities to share, reuse, and also create knowledge using the Geo Knowledge Hub. And all the things we are doing together with the Geo community. So all the stuff we presented here is part of a community effort. So we are not doing things alone. So we are trying to use this on-demand approach. So if you have requests, features to implement, ideas or things to change, we are open to discuss and find the best way to move forward. So that's the way we are always working, and we can keep moving together. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Felipe. Thanks a lot to the Geo Knowledge Hub team, so Paola, Kanomkas, Felipe, for this in-depth presentation of the Geo Knowledge Hub, the feature, the concept, and the way basically to address the creation of a knowledge package. We have several questions in the chat, very interesting one that I maybe either leave you, the Geo Knowledge team, to answer regarding some link with metadata and so on. We can bring them back maybe to the discussion. For the sake of time, I would like now to jump, and it will be maybe answering some of the link with other repository in the chat as by Claudio, with two examples that maybe could be inspirational for you to see how basically we can, and we have already integrate some of the result of past contribution and project from past EC funded project and currently just finishing one. So I guess you see my screen now. Is it the one in full mode?
Yes.
Okay. So we have two examples of 5 minutes, try to showcase you what can be done as part of a project, having some result and an outcome to basically put in the GeoKnowledge Hub with two different type of flavor. So the eShape project is one example of having been mentioned previously. So it has ended in 2023, and basically the strategy has been done on the fly, as we initially have some project engagement to make sure that in the project we have data management through the GEO's data management principle following Inspire and Geo. And basically we started by creating metadata record for each of the 37 pilots that were part of the project, as well using ISO and Inspire profile. And we have an existing catalog, a Geo network, where we have developed this metadata record. But you see that we have developed them in the spirit of the Geo Knowledge Hub package and granule. So at the time, we engaged in discussion with the Geo Knowledge team to how to integrate the content of the eShape that we have already created in the Geo Knowledge Hub. And the idea, and it echoed Claudio let's say comments in the chat, we want to avoid duplication. We want to have an already existing repository to make sure to create there and to update in this Geo network, and to make sure that we are not duplicating the effort from the original creation of the metadata. And for this, thanks to the support of the Geo Knowledge team, and especially to Felipe, we have developed an harvesting process. We basically perfectly and nicely render the content of the metadata record, which are in the catalog, into the Geo Knowledge Hub. So let's see how it looks. So again, as mentioned, we have mimicking the Geo Knowledge Hub package strategy, and we have created some metadata record following ISO profile with several links associated to the metadata record. So you see, for example, for this eShape pilot over here, that we have additional link with a notebook, a GitHub master link, communication document, video, access to the pilot itself. And then when we look at the metadata record itself, we see that we have some knowledge granule that provide links or embedded document. In the case, we have some result as a net CDF file, which are basically part of the metadata record. So all of this is already put into a catalog, and thanks to the fact that the Geo Knowledge Hub is able to harvest the content of this catalog, we have on the fly the creation of a consistent Geo Knowledge package with the split of all the elements which are listed here that are part of our single metadata record into the various elements of the so-called Geo Knowledge package. And the addition to this is that the Geo Knowledge Hub, as mentioned by Felipe, can provide links regarding the alignment or engagement priority of Geo or sustainable development goals. So this is currently done manually. So if you provide the element to the Geo Knowledge Hub team, they are able to supercharge your already existing knowledge package based from an harvesting mechanism, and to supercharge it with engagement priority or any additional information such as the SDG and later on the Geo focus area when they will be available. So this is it. This is an automatic way to create and to link your already repository with the Geo Knowledge Hub without no duplicating effort. I will leave the floor now to Orestes for the FL project regarding another way to basically integrate and to have feedback as well on the way to integrate content and result into the Geo Knowledge Hub. So Orestes, the floor is yours.
Yes, hi again. We did the work manually in Eiffel. So in a nutshell, in Eiffel, it was a 3-year project. It ended on May 2024. We wanted to use GEO's content for creating climate change adaptation mitigation applications and also augment GEO's. I won't talk about the second part of the project. We had several partners which are Earth observation entities, but few have working relationships and knowledge of GEO. Next slide, please. I have to be clear here, a disclaimer of sorts. This was an inside job. it was a geo project by design. We answered a particular geos topic. The applications were mostly based on geos data, and we had in our grant agreement a KPI, a key performance indicator of at least 3 knowledge packages that should be put in the Geo Knowledge Hub. It was an inside job because at the observatory we also host the Greek Geo office. In geo jargon, this means National Coordination Mechanism. We have a lot of experience working with geo and its hundreds of abbreviations. Next slide, please. So this is the workflow. 7 steps, 6 if you kill the webinar we did, which is like the webinar we are doing today. So 2 years into the project, we had to have mature applications. We introduced the partners to Geo and the Geo Knowledge Hub. The different flavors, big knowledge packages, smaller knowledge packages, but working nonetheless. And we set a minimum as a project. So we want to have a publication, some software of sorts, a data set, and the user story. The Eiffel pilots would serve the user story requirement. Our second point is a geo person, myself, who I also knew the project from the inside, but also had an idea what geo was after. Created a long list of potential entries. I had in mind also reproducibility and replicability, meaning that we didn't want super specific, very close systems to act as knowledge packages. Based on this long list, we had dedicated bilateral like interviews with the different partners of Eiffel. This was not a very strict job interview, but nevertheless, we wanted to tick the minimum requirements. And in the process, we also synthesized some different applications into a single knowledge package to increase the added value. Or sometimes the partners asked explicitly to keep stuff separate for IPR purposes. I'm saying this because this may be the case also for your project. So based on these bilaterals, we created a short list that we proposed to GeoSec. GeoSec said, yes, very nice. We agreed that there would be no gatekeeping, meaning that if Eiffel considers these packages as good enough for the Geo Knowledge Hub, more or less they would be accepted. Let's discuss this further later on. And they would be autonomous to Eiffel, meaning, okay, they belong under the Eiffel community, but from their entry and onwards, they belong to the provider, not to Eiffel, because Eiffel has ended, right? So they have to be ready for future updates, etc. And we did not follow the say per pilot breakdown. We thought about it. We considered this, but at the end we killed it for the reasons I mentioned before. It was not suitable for the Eiffel project. We had the webinar, like today. This was 2 months before the project's ending. And then we proceeded in the manual registration. So completely manual, form by form, what Felipe showed before. I would say that it took about 3 hours per knowledge package for the individual each partner who had a knowledge package, it took about 3 hours. There was some small iteration with the GeoSec and with myself, because what are the geo work program activities? I had to explain this to the partner for him or her to choose from the drop-down menu. All in all, we have created 6 knowledge packages under the Eiffel community, and we have also added the EuroGEO keyword. Next slide, please. These are the packages. I won't go into details. They are quite diverse. There is the link that you can, of course, search in the Geo Knowledge Hub. Next slide, please. Okay, lessons and some open questions for the discussion. What happens when there is not a Geo person on the inside? We interpreted what Eiffel should contribute as knowledge packages. Who greenlights? Felipe and Lionel will probably take this up in the future, but this is easier said than done. It was quite a strenuous work. So if you have 14 projects contributing, this is a very hard work indeed. The added value of putting stuff in the Geo Knowledge Hub, this goes together with some of the questions in the chat, is not evident, not immediately evident to to the partners who do not know or do not know very well what EuroGEO is. So we had to explain this to them several times, and we also had the KPI. We should balance altogether, I mean, the value of having a project community versus having a single superset, sorry, of the EuroGEO community. I'm not convinced we should have a community per project. And last but not least, Paola said, okay, very nice. We are very happy you have put 6 knowledge packages in the Geo Knowledge Hub. What happens after? The webinars were mentioned before, the GeoGlam webinars. IFL has ended. So it's up to the individual provider to continue this Geo journey with webinars and so on and so forth. So thanks.
Thanks a lot, Arestis, for this very interesting testimony, which is again fully something different than the one we have from eShape. I was thinking that those two can capture the basically two opposite sides of the spectrum, and we have some interesting discussion in the chat regarding how basically the tool and the Geo Knowledge Hub can link to existing repository, whereas nevertheless in the manual process there are some key questions and some key, let's say, open things to discuss that you have clearly illustrated. So for the sake of time, as we are running really further from from the schedule, and to leave some time to discussion, let's say, from the one that are basically keen to intervene. So regarding the further activity, regarding for the EuroGEOSec, so mostly myself, we're going to make sure that we are going to present this activity and potentially the initial feedback, result contact we're going to have in the meantime in the EuroGEO workshop in Krakow. Nevertheless, we will advertise for this process to be known by the EuroGEO community. And we will provide, and this is the remark from Murray in the chat, yes, we will have, of course, we need to have point-to-point support for each of the project and needed workshop to discuss this. So we will plan, again, for those who need, maybe you are not at the same level, maybe things are already easy for you, but we need to make sure to have, let's say, point support with any single project. Finally, the outcome will be showcased during the Geo Week in Rome. So this is for the EuroGEOSec. We'll take part of this in the support of the Geo Knowledge Hub team for sure. Which I forgot to mention. And for the selected project, so first you need to digest the content of this information from this workshop. So if you are new to Geo Knowledge Hub, you have already a wealth of information basically to consider and to think of. Then basically the idea will be to engage toward a first internal analysis regarding the selection of candidate Geo Knowledge Hub package. So either you already, let's say, you're already keen to do it internally without any support, or you need a point-to-point support to potentially address this. So basically, you'll come back to us in order to fine-tune this and to make sure you can kickstart. And then basically, you can reach out to EuroGEOSec, myself, Geo Knowledge Hub, the team that is present here for further analysis, technical assistance, or any further requirement you may have, and I see plenty of in the chat. So I'm sorry, we have been just a bit beyond the schedule. We have and still 15 minutes to run question. So thank you all to first attend this workshop. Thank to my fellow colleague, presenter and part of the Geo Knowledge Hub teams, and to Erwin to attend this. So the floor is yours, people from those 14 selected projects. So you can raise your hand and basically take the floor to fuel with your feedback question. I will make sure to capture all the things in the chat to ultimately address all those questions later on. So don't be shy, jump in, the floor is yours. So yeah, Paola, you raise your hand.
Thank you, Lionel. Just one very quick additional specification. The Geo Knowledge Hub has also the possibility to host physically content up to 20 giga per resource. This is an important specification to be added in case there are projects who are short-term funded and do not know what to do after 3 years in terms of where are we going to have our house. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Paola. Very good additional comment. Information, not comment. Yes, Murray.
Thanks, Lionel. So speaking as a coordinator of our EU project, we have detailed plans within the project, data management plans, interaction with EMONnet, etc., etc. There's also tremendous diversity, and at least speaking for iAtlantic, we finished as a project. So we need to be a bit careful about how we promise to engage with lots of activities moving forward, which I think why in the chat there's so much focus on how you guys are going to pull from existing architectures into your activity. And I think that's something I'm a bit unsighted, how you chose us as a selection of projects, and therefore what we can really practically, concretely do to help and assist, because it's an exciting idea. And I'm just not quite sighted on the specifics of what I can do to help.
So regarding the selection, it was a mix. I maybe handed it to Erwin, which has already explained the main, let's say, expectation from the EC. On my side, it is a belief on my side. I was part of this very big project as well, eShape, and we have transitioned this result from already existing infrastructure into the Geo Knowledge Hub. I really like the idea of the Geo Knowledge Hub, let's say, package concept that can glue things that not belonging, let's say, immediately all together. So this is my personal goal, paving the way for EuroGEO as being part of this, let's say, game for potentially, let's say, advertising of this. So regarding the practical activity, again, everything is on the table. So it is, by the way, not an already identified action per se or a work package in the Geo Knowledge Hub. It is a pure belief that we collectively can do better to make sure that what is currently potentially spreaded in various platforms can be glued together as soon as we are under the Geo umbrella into this Geo Knowledge Hub tool. And again, we are dedicated to support, to discuss, to fine-tune, to select with all you guys up to our, let's say, engagement and yours, which is potentially already finished or left, in order to address this endeavor to make sure that what is produced under the EC funding for EuroGEO, for Geo, can be, again, as mentioned by Paola, let's say, here to stay, would I say.
If you'll allow me one very quick follow-up, I'm one of a very kind of few coordinators, about 5 or 6 of us, that led all Atlantic projects with Brazil, South Africa, Argentina, countries outside of Europe. And given the Geo mandate, the global mandate, I just think you've got a really unique opportunity, great commission leadership actually, in allowing that activity to happen, but a very diverse capacity in data management across Africa and across South America. And that's something perhaps projects like iAtlantic, Atlantico, Mission Atlantic and others can really help with. So do let us know if that's an angle that's of interest to you.
Of course, we will learn from this, because of course we are maybe too much European centric right now. But as we have projects like yours, we basically extend the scope with various continents and various ways to experience this practice of sharing results and knowledge. We could definitely learn from this. So we are very happy to have you on board. So maybe Erwin, if you want just to comment on the selection again, if it was not clear for Murray.
No, indeed, I remember that Gaël Boulet was your PO, that's correct. So I remember that we discussed that indeed, for the reasons that you said, iAtlantic would be ideally fitting. As I was saying before, we are looking for a diverse set of projects. And an extra argument for you is that you were already involved in this Horizon results So that's also where we want to see then how this fits together, how this could link together and so on. So this was the reasons to select, let's say, Atlantic. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Erwin. I see some raising hands. So from my screen, Claudio, from left to right. You are muted, Claudio. Yeah. We cannot hear you, Claudio. So maybe I will leave the floor to Mirko. The time you basically.
Now can you hear
me?
me?
Oh no, yeah, okay, we hear you, Claudio. Sorry.
I don't know why.
That's fine. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. No, just a comment. First of all, thank you for the presentation, and I fully agree with the objective of having a place where results from projects can be uploaded. Also, like files, results, publication, etc. I would give a recommendation, if possible, to try to link with the other existing repository, especially the ones from European Commission, because currently, for example, in Safers, we have some papers uploaded to Zenodo, some paper to Arxiv. Then some paper are within the editor because we paid no open access publication, and so it is available with their repository, with the publisher repository that guarantees the gold open access. So in order to avoid double upload, then multiple versions here and there would be, maybe is already taken care of, I don't know, but I couldn't understand fully from the presentation. But for example, for publication would be important to link with this kind of main open repository already available. And then for results like software, also with other repository like GitHub, for example, we used a Hugging Face in the community there to publish the open source software that we released through Safer. So what I think would be good for us would be to insert records so that then it points to the source, in this case, Hugging Face repository or Zenodo, etc., etc. And in some case, we may also select the possibility to upload data that are staying within the portal. So to this end, it will be important to identify and implement some integration with the most used platforms out there.
I'm fully on the same line than you. We should not, as much as we can, redo and reproduce the effort of having those already existing resources to be shared in the GEO Knowledge Hub. You will provide some, I guess, some very interesting use case for the GEO Knowledge Hub to scale up and to address potentially this activity of let's say, harvesting and gluing everything together into a smart GEO Knowledge Hub package. So of course we will follow and keep on discussing with you regarding those examples. So Mirko, thanks a lot, Claudio.
Yeah, thank you. I think I have a little bit the kind of first commentary. I think originally what should have been packaged was more like when we have a service like one Earth observation service, it's nice to have all those things together. Now we have in a way added now the project on top and around it, for example, for eShape. And thank you, Lionel, for doing it. So this is not a critique per se on the system, but in essence, now we have there, for example, the 39 or how many pilot services we have put Internet Geo Knowledge Hub. And in that sense, for me now interesting is, for example, that for Harvester Seasons, which I'm running, which was pilot 3 in Showcase 7, we have updated, we have extended our frame to Europe, and we would need to do version 2. But I guess that's now under Lionel, your kind of like your lead account. So at some point we need to kind of, so, this is a very simple thing that at some point you have to pass it on more to those who continue to work on it. Otherwise, I would have to do another new insertion for the same thing when it's actually just working forward. But that's a very practical single thing. I think and maybe that's just one way of how to see that we should maybe simplify and not try like projects where many different services are inside is, I think, a very normal way for European Union projects. But that level is then one more level for end users to somehow need to know when they don't need to know necessarily. Like we should just get them to the place where they are, and we should acknowledge the project. So I think the flags of each project helping these services should be there, but maybe the first point is not the project, it's the service itself.
Yeah,
but I think this is exactly where we can develop now.
Yeah, fully agree with your comment. Definitely. So this was a logical transition from project to, let's say, sustainable initiative. I'd be very glad to pass it over you.
No.
It has been done by GeoGlam. Basically, it was transition doing them themselves, and I was absolutely fine with it. But it's a key question, and this is more governance issues rather than maybe technical issues. So how basically we make sure that those things that are in transition between project to maybe initiatives or solid support can transition as well. This information well, currently it's a catalog, so it is still something that will stay. But again, I take 100% of your comments and your concern. Very valid.
And we can maybe one more addition, I think, to that. So when it comes to Arctic Passion and in general, a lot of Arctic projects. So we do have in the Sustaining Arctic Observing Networks, for example, a project database, which has, I think, that kind of things quite a lot. So also that data sets and kind of publications are connected to it. So really there are other places, and one of those other places is the Copernicus service, which is now having lots of different hubs. So or just setting up, so the energy hub, I'm sure, Lionel, you have been in kind of contact to that. So we should somehow maybe see that how do we get these to maybe kind of like nicely connect to each other. So when you fill one, you already do something for the other. And maybe that could be a way how it gets a little bit less work for the services themselves to kind of put something in. Because now I do have to, for example, put some things in the Arctic Hub, which is a little less work than putting it in the Geo Knowledge Hub. But of course, like we will look in Arctic Passion how we will do it for, we have 8 different services. So somehow we will do it.
Very good use case, yes, on the table. Thanks a lot, Mirko. Nicolas, you raise your hand as well.
Yes, I support the comment from Claudio originally. I think the fact that we are dealing with the Geo Knowledge Hub is something different from the current practices we have. It is true that in European funded projects, we publish our results as project documents. We also have a project page, and we will publish the scientific publications. However, in eShape, when we dealt with the Geo Knowledge Hub, we had to do a slightly different exercise. We had to look for the knowledge granule and the knowledge package within the project. There is one example in that project. So we had the services that we were operating. So these were clearly identified as potential knowledge granule, but there is an addition knowledge element that we have put in the Knowledge Hub that is a methodology for co-design. And there, what we had to do is not to take the reports that we published for the European Commission that were mandatory, but to get the content out of this report that we had to repackage into knowledge that can be used and that can be of interest for external users. So we somehow, depending on the use case, potentially in some projects, there would be the need to look into the deliverables that are available, the material that is available, and repackage that into an element that can be used by a broader community. So I think it goes beyond interfacing. In some cases, I think it goes beyond interfacing with existing platforms that we have, because those platforms usually are, I'm not criticizing anything, usually relatively descriptive. So we have a page with the project description, the work packages, the outcomes with the documents, and the scientific publication, for example. But when we talk about knowledge, it's slightly different. We need to repackage that and bring it to users of that knowledge granule. So it needs the exercise that FL was describing. It needs to sit down and to identify those knowledge granule within very large projects. And I think it's a slight shift in mindset from us, project manager. We need to understand what we mean with knowledge and knowledge granule and what is relevant for the Geo Knowledge Hub. We don't want to publish everything we do in each of these projects. It wouldn't make sense, and it would probably overload the Geo Knowledge Hub. What we want to do is to find in our project what could be of interest for this geo community, for example. So I think we are talking about having an additional exercise of repackaging information.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nicolas, for providing this insight and this, let's say, vision of the differences between currently the core feature of this knowledge hub and the knowledge hub package versus, let's say, data set or repository. I think it is worthwhile. So, Christina. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sorry. Oh, really, really interesting. I want to ask two things. Once to Nicolas and once to Paola, because they said two really important things about our project Harmonia. First of all, is what Nicolas was saying, that in our project is really important. And we are almost at the end of our project in this moment, and our most effort in these last months is just to try to make what Nicolas was saying, to try to communicate to our end user in a different way, not in a scientific way, but in a user way, our tools, our results. So this effort that we are doing now maybe can help to make the package for the to make a package, a knowledge in the package. And so it's really important for us to try to maybe can be useful for us also to improve our way to try to communicate our project to our end user. On the other hand, Paola, you were speaking about the capacity of the product, and we can put there paper information, not report but information, but can we put also data, like can we make a repository like data for our data also, to try to keep making the life longer of our project?
Lionel, shall I?
Yeah. And first, you were the next in
Okay.
so you can do both, answer to Christina and maybe provide your comments.
Okay, thank you very much, Christina. So it depends on the nature of the data that, so what we have, the Geo Knowledge Hub has the capacity to do hosting, physical hosting of up to 20 giga per resource. So the data that you have are spatial data. Do they have spatial elements? If so, it would be valuable to assess what would be the best tool, but we could, if this is the only solution to preserve this data over a long time, there is a whole discussion in the geo infrastructure with respect to in situ data hosting. And we are very aware of the challenges that are existing for short-term funded projects over the long-term preservation of in situ data. What we are discussing is to, the first choice would not be the Geo Knowledge Hub to host data, but it could be used in case this is the last choice. The first choice would be to assess who are the existing in situ data network by the same domain of the data that you would like to host, and engage with those existing in situ data network, and then those in situ data network being brokered by the DAB. So to have an harmonious approach. I would say we need to probably continue the discussion in a bilateral.
Yes.
But definitely the option is, there is no option of losing data anymore. no
Which
option.
is a strong message. Thanks.
Yeah, no,
And,
yes. And I hope that,
please.
no, sorry, we will be in October in Krakow, so I hope that we can meet there and we can speak about more.
Absolutely. Thanks.
And Lionel, I just wanted to add an additional message.
Please,
the discussion was ongoing before. I was hearing Mikko talking about versioning of projects and so forth. I would like to say definitely that in the Geo Knowledge Hub, we do have the possibility to add multiple versions to the same knowledge package. This is very important. And second, there is a shift that is very important here to think. The shift we are trying to bring in with the Geo Knowledge Hub is that every content is associated to a specific domain. And so what we value here is, as Felipe mentioned and showed in his demo, I'm entering in the Geo Knowledge Hub to find knowledge about a specific socio-environmental challenge. Felipe has looked for mosquito, which is a challenge, could be a health-related challenge, could be, but we can look for food security application, we can look for biodiversity applications, we can look for many other, but always for a final goal. And so the shift here is not the project itself, but what application is my project responding to? What is the final, why should somebody know about my project? So my project cannot be called E-Shape 32 because nobody will understand in 2 years' time E-Shape 32. But
it
my
was
project...
echoing the message as well from Mikko regarding this basically link and this, let's say, inheritance from moving to a project into a more sustainable, let's say, sustainable support.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, we are already 10 behind the schedule, so we like to talk. We have maybe screw a bit the schedule, and I apologize for this. I think it was though quite, let's say, a good, let's say, overseas of what we are trying to do in the EuroGEOSec to support EuroGEO, based as well on the support from the Commission, European Commission, how we team with this wonderful team of the Geo Knowledge Hub, dedicated people basically trying to support this activity of creating knowledge and making things not lose and not lost. Thanks to all your project participants. I guess we have not all the full stack of the 14. Maybe we can think of later on, see how we can reconvene with the people that were missing. But still, we have a very large representation of those 14 projects. Thanks to all that has taken the time to spend with this workshop. I hope you have learned a lot. How it has basically either open your mind regarding how you're going to do better this final potentially activity of making sure your result and the outcome can be glued into this wonderful knowledge package, granules and support with the Geo Knowledge Hub. We will wrap up the things, provide maybe a document which basically highlight, we have taken some minutes thanks to my colleague Nicola and myself as well. Try to wrap up things, send you the link to the slides. So Paola, you could provide me with your slide. I will integrate it in the doc. Provide you a link to the recording so you can go back and share it with your colleague. And of course, as mentioned in the future activity, we will get back to you. I have no exact plan on this. We are very busy. We have the ODOC that is coming, the EuroGEO workshop to organize. So don't worry, we will keep in touch and we will touch base with each of you regarding the best way to basically engage your project into linking into the Geo Knowledge Hub. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate all this discussion during this workshop and your commitment.
Thanks to you, Lionel, to
Thank you very much.
Elgin and
Thanks,
Nicola
Roger.
and
Thank you.
EuroGEO.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye. Well done.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.